What is up, everybody? It's Jamey. Welcome back to the channel. We got a good video for you today because we are going to be comparing two big competitors within the clear iPhone case category. So we have the Apple clear case for the iPhone 14 Pro, as well as the new clear case from CASETIFY. I've always been a fan of like a really nice clear case. It can be the best of both worlds, where you're able to see the sleekness, the color of your phone, while still having some sort of protection. However, a lot of times there's some downfalls of these clear cases, and the biggest one is going to be yellowing. It's like every clear case I've come across over time, they all talk about anti-yellow coating or whatever the case may be, but over time it still ends up happening. I think it's ultimately going to happen no matter what with a clear plastic, where you're trying to delay that as much as possible. And the other thing is trying to get a clear case that's kind of the best of both worlds, in the sense where it's clear and it's slim in its form factor, but it's not too slim, but it's not too bulky. Because sometimes you kind of get these clear cases that are very thin and flimsy, and it feels like if this thing drops, your phone is done. But then you get other ones that they're just too bulky, too much material, and ends up taking away the whole purpose of like a clear kind of inconspicuous case. So what I'm hoping to do today is take a comparison of these two cases and let you know what I think about both of them and which would be my choice. The first case we're going to be taking a look at is the clear case from Apple with MagSafe. Now this case was $49, and in terms of clear cases, I think that this one is a really good representation. When I've looked at other clear cases, I did a comparison. A lot of them, either the material is way too thin, or it really isn't all that clear. There's a lot of like cloudiness that's around it. So I really like the material that is used in this, and just the overall construction. You can tell it's not too flimsy. Like you can bend this pretty well, but it's relatively rigid while still keeping a slim form factor. The biggest issue with this case is the opening on the bottom. Now, I don't know what the reasoning is for Apple. I guess maybe because they don't do a huge lip over the bottom, like they don't do a huge lip around the case, that there's not enough material to kind of have this gap here. I don't really know, because it seems like with every single one of their clear cases, this cutout is still existent, and this is the biggest issue that I have with this case. Because I'll put my phone in here quick, and it's a very sensitive area that is just wide open. And now granted, you can do worse without having like a case on it, or there's some cases that don't really have much of a lip around the outside of the bezel, but that's a too big of a risk. And then the other thing, what that does is it is nice because you can kind of bend the case and pop your phone out much easier if you're swapping cases often. However, it also, the more easy it is to remove, the more easy it is to come off in some way, shape, or form. They do have like they talk about anti-yellowing technology that's in here. So there's maybe a coating. There's also scratch-resistant materials that are put on this as well. I think that's something that's your mileage may vary, in the sense that depending upon how much exposure this gets to things, your use, if you're using other cases or not, it could really change that. Like, is there going to be yellowing? Is there going to be scratching? It's going to change, I think, from person to person and their overall use case. This case does have a nice little lip around the camera lenses. I mean, everything else, I think, to me, seems decent for a clear case. The big problem is just this opening here. Now, Apple doesn't really talk about drop protection with any other cases. I don't think that that is something that they're concerned about at all, which is probably why they don't mention it. If they did, I don't really know what they could put for this, because with having this open right here, I don't really know if there's any drop protection technically. So it's nice. The price point's okay at $49. You're limited in the sense that it's just clear. You don't get any other options from a design perspective. One thing that I don't like about clear cases is just seeing the MagSafe ring. I hate it. So if there was a way to be clear but also covered up a little bit, which you're going to see in the CASETIFY case, I would like that aspect, but it's not, I mean, it's the more and more we see this, the more I get used to it. But overall, I think it's decent, but huge gap, metaphorically as well as literally, on the bottom here. So let's switch over to the CASETIFY case. So CASETIFY just this year launched their new clear case. Now you can get, they have their impact case, they have their ultra impact cases. You can get those in their clear version, but this is a completely differently new case that they just launched. And it's focused on being even more slim while still providing drop protection. So a couple of interesting things about this case. So first, they created a new type of UV defense material that's built into this kind of medical grade plastic to help with the anti-yellowing as well. So they're really focusing on the technology to slow down that yellowing process. Understanding that yellowing is likely going to occur over time with any clear plastic material, but if you can slow it down as much as possible, that's what we're looking for. When you look at a clear case, you want it to be clear, but if you take a look at people's phones and their cases, you can kind of see dust collection all over the place. And the reason being is because there's a lot of gaps or whatnot that are around the phone, like when you look at the Apple case. So you're going to see dust that's going to kind of sneak in between your phone and the case. CASETIFY really did a lot of work in trying to shore that up with keeping a sleek design, but covering things off to try to prevent that dust from getting behind the case itself. Granted, some of it may be occurring, but it's not really the greatest thing to see your phone and see all these dust particles kind of collecting in between, and with it being clear, it's much more noticeable than any other case. The other thing I like about the material is just it's very rigid. So as soon as you get it out of the packaging, you'll feel like it's extremely sturdy, but it also has like an interesting feel to it. Like a lot of times, some clear cases, depending upon the material, it feels really slippery. So even though it's already slim and maybe not super protective, like the case is slippery. This one, I don't know, there's a very nice kind of high-end, it's not a texture, but for whatever reason, there's a much more tactile feel to the plastic material as well. So I feel much more confident holding it in my hand, not thinking that it's going to drop or anything like that or slip out of my hand. To add on to the material, with this case, even though it's very sleek and slim, you still have some really good drop protection. So this is rated at 6.5 feet of drop protection, which I think is, considering the slimness and sleekness of the case itself, I think that's really good. Another thing that I like about this case and kind of CASETIFY cases in general is just the personalization of them. So this just kind of plain clear case where the main thing is going to be the MagSafe magnet on the back, it kind of turns me off. So I like the fact, granted, I still want the case to be clear, but I like the fact that they can put different like designs on the back of them to where it kind of hides the ugliness of the MagSafe in my eyes. One of the things that you'll quickly notice is that the case is fully complete all the way around, so you don't have to worry about not protecting this area of your phone, which is just crucial for me. But from a cost comparison perspective, the CASETIFY cases are a little bit more expensive, as expected, with the technology that's built into them. So these are for the iPhone 14 Pro that I have. This was $78. Allows you to pick whatever design you want. You also get the MagSafe capability as well. However, if you'd like to get 15% off your order from CASETIFY, you can use the link below, which kind of help out with that cost difference. In comparing the two cases, even though the CASETIFY case is more expensive, I would still choose the CASETIFY case. And here's my reasons. So first and foremost, it's protection. So not having a case here in the bottom in the Apple case, or not having any material here, is that's strike 1, 2, 3 right there. If you end up dropping your phone, have some sort of damage or whatnot that's occurring, that's $1,000+ phone you're talking about. The difference of $20 or whatever it is, $30, that's going to make up in multiples with that potential. The other thing is that I really think that I've used these cases in the past, and they do yellow, they do scratch. And granted, this is relatively new, it's not proven, but I'd rather try this case. And I'm thinking that with the technology, the yellowing is not going to occur anywhere near as quickly. Who even knows what's going to happen with the yellowing? So I think that you could get away much longer with this case than with the Apple case. And then also, I just like the personalization. I think that the different designs and whatnot, I think it's a very unique take on their cases, and I like it. I think this is boring, basic, and I like to throw a little bit of flair in there. So if you are going to go clear, it's nice to have something to kind of separate from others, add some little personality into the case. So I would be choosing the CASETIFY Clear Case over the Apple Clear Case. Thank you, everyone. I hope you enjoyed the video. Please comment below, let me know what you think, if you plan on picking up a clear case for yourself. Also, if you happen to purchase a case from CASETIFY, don't forget to use the link below to get 15% off your order. I'll catch you in the next video.